everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. We're going to jump down the rabbit hole, pun completely intended. We're going to jump down the rabbit hole that is Alice in Wonderland 1933. I actually discovered, Gorak, that this is not the first live action film. I thought it was.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember you were telling me about this on the show on Monday.
yeah, this is actually the, I think, third or fourth Alice in Wonderland live action film, but it had a lot of controversy at the time before we jump into
Oh,
the
really?
movie. Disney wanted to make it, but Paramount bought the rights to it before Disney could. Um, and
Okay.
and due to Paramount, I don't think they owned the rights at the time. Well, when they made it, they did. But when they tried releasing it on VHS or DVD, Paramount didn't own the rights to release it. So it didn't get released on DVD or any digital format until 2010.
Oh, wow. In color?
No, it was re-released, but I think it was still in black and white.
Oh, okay. Would have
But
been
yeah,
would have been good if they re-released it in HD and not HD, like in 4K in color.
bro, I don't want to see this nightmare in any better quality than what I've seen it in. And by nightmare, I mean it in a good way. Um,
Yeah, I had to watch that movie with all the house lights on.
I'd have a little nighty on. I actually had to watch this movie 2 or 3 times this week because there's so much, yet nothing happens. Like there's so much that goes on, but there's no real plot.
Well, I kind of feel like I was watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory meets Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we will actually discuss why it's kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street too, because I kind of got that correlation in a weird way. Uh, the movie starts off. Let's kind of jump into it, and then we can kind of talk here and there throughout. The movie starts off. It's Alice in her house. Now, I kind of really like the opening sequence. It's really old timey, but it's like a picture book. It shows the cast and who plays who. What's a fun take on this movie? I
Yeah.
read about this. They actually had back then an all-star cast. It was most of Paramount's biggest name actors in one movie, but the movie flopped in the box office because they were all wearing makeup and masks.
Ah, come on.
So people didn't know they were in the movie when the commercial first came out. So that's a fun take. And Paramount actually released this movie because they were on the verge of bankruptcy.
Oh, really?
Yes. You've never seen this movie, Jackie. You really should check it out. And honestly, anything we discuss on the show for the first time will not really be spoilers because if you've seen one Alice in Wonderland, it kind of follows the same story, but it's older and different, if that makes any sense.
Nice.
When the movie started off, it starts off with Alice sitting in her bed. Well, in a chair, sorry, not in her bed. She's sitting in a chair. She's reading this big ass picture book. Now, I found this hilarious how big this book was compared to her. Was I the only one that noticed this, Greg?
What's that?
Her big ass picture book that she was reading from.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that thing's fucking huge. She was like reading a book. It's like twice the size of her. She is asking her, I think, babysitter or nanny or someone. I forget who she is in relation to Alice, but she asks her, "Can I go outside and play?" And she's like, "No, it's snowing." Now, I don't know if in 1933 the snow was acid or not, but I think it's still safe to go outside. I'm not certain. Is it not safe to go outside in 1933 when it's snowing?
Acid.
Oh, we're going to get into the acid soon. Um, because this movie is a fucking treat, bro.
This movie is a tripper for sure. Like
And
I
I'm
was saying
trying
to
to.
you, like given you don't need to smoke fucking weed to watch this movie.
This movie ain't weed, dude. This is some acid and a half, bro. But Alice is sitting there after her nanny or whatever says you can't go outside, it's snowing. She starts talking to her cat about the looking glass. I don't know what kind of drugs this girl's on, but she's talking about the looking glass, and she stands up and shows her cat. She's like, when I hold you up, the girl in the other end of the world holds up her cat too. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, but she goes and she eats eggs. Now, she doesn't really eat the eggs on camera. She explains to her nanny that I ate both my eggs. I just put one together. And her nanny's like, you're fucking stupid, or whatever she says. She's like, Alice, what is wrong with you? You need to be put in a home. I don't know what she says, but she says some stuff. And then Alice is sitting there bored as shit, and she falls asleep. And then she wakes up. Well, she don't really wake up. You don't really see her sleep. It's hinted that she falls asleep. She wakes up, her nanny's not there. She scoots her chair to the mirror and stands up on it. And she's like, maybe if I push on the mirror, I can end up in the looking glass room. And
Yeah.
And she's like holding. And I think this is brilliant editing for 1933. They morphed her body with the body in the mirror. And she was in basically a backwards version of her other room. A funny part is she talks to the clock, and the clock's backwards, and she comments on that. But the painting on the wall, she looks at a painting at the beginning of the movie, which this is still kind of early in the movie still, but she notices a painting of her uncle or somebody and her auntie or whatever relatives. Well, in the looking glass room, you only see the backside of them. And they turn around, and the uncle has, hi, Royce, thanks for joining, buddy. The uncle has a patch on his pants because nobody thought to fix his pants because you only see the front side of the picture. Then brilliantly, and I know I'm probably not going to get too into detail about certain characters and things that are said because so much shit is said. There's songs that I just can't recite. But there's so much going on. But she notices the chess pieces from earlier that she was playing with are alive now, and they're like near the fireplace, and they're all scattering. And the baby is up on the counter, which is a pawn, I think is what it is. I don't play chess, but it's a little baby pawn. And she's like, oh, I'll help you get to him. So picks one of them up and puts it on the counter, and it's freaking the fuck out. So I just got blown away by a volcano. Guys, don't go near there. You got to climb the long way. And then Alice picks him up too. And that's when they're all freaking out. And she's like, well, fuck this. It's getting late. Alice didn't say that. That's just how it played out. The clock, it's getting late. And she's like, I got to explore this place. So she walks up to the door. Now, I don't know if this scene made no sense to you, but it made no sense to me. Everything's supposed to be backwards in the looking glass room. They're supposed to be the opposite. But her door is a fucking garage door. I don't understand that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she went to grab the doorknob and it's on the bottom and it opens up like open ways, like an old-fashioned garage door. And then she goes outside and she sees this rabbit from earlier. Now, her nanny thought she was nuts because she's like, that rabbit outside has boots and a coat. This one did. This rabbit had boots and a coat, and it's late, going to go see the queen. And Alice is like, ooh, queen, I can't mind my own goddamn business, so I'll follow you. So as the old story goes, she falls down the rabbit hole, and she's greeted by this door, which she opens the door, and guess what? There's another door. Then she opens up another door. She opens out another door. Now, this is the classic Alice in Wonderland sequences. I know that. But I'm explaining it from somebody who's probably never seen Alice in Wonderland before, hasn't seen this one. I'm just going to explain the movie. There's like 3 or 4 doors. I never understood that concept. Why can't you just have one door? But it's Wonderland. Nothing fucking makes sense. Anyway, she opens that door to enter a room where there's a smaller door. This is doorception. You just exited a bunch of fucking doors and you got another door. So she sees this door and naturally it's locked and she looks like Andre the Giant trying to enter in a keyhole. She can't get to the door. So this table lights up, and there's a key, and there's a little shot glass or a potion bottle. And I guess people in 1933 had very high trust because she picked it up and said, "Not poison, drink me." Now, I know this was from the book. That's actually what the vial said. So this was from like the 1800s. But in 2022, if you see a vial that says "Drink me, I'm not poison,"
Don't drink it.
No, you're turning around and somehow climbing out of that rabbit hole and going back through the looking glass and getting the hell out of there. But not Alice. Alice is a brave woman. She drinks it, and she grew 2 sizes that day, kind of like the Grinch's heart. She grew, she grew, and I mean, a lot of this shit that I'm saying right now is exactly how it plays out in the cartoon years later. You guys know how the story goes. She then sees the little chest opening up, and it says "Eat me," which I thought it was like insulting her. Like it was like, "Eat me, you bitch." You know what I mean? But no, she picks up the chest and starts eating the cookie or the magic brownie. I don't know what she's eating because this is a trip after this. So she eats her pot-filled brownie, I guess, and she shrinks. It's fun to note that she was crying before she ate the treat because when she shrinks, it's a big fucking pond. And Alice looks up, and the key is up on the table. So she's got to get to the table, and that's where this whole story starts. And I got to note that by the end of the movie, the key's completely forgot about. Pretty much. Like she ends up going where she needs to go anyway, but whatever. It's a movie that shouldn't make sense. I guess Lewis Carroll was on acid when she fucking wrote this book or something. But Alice fell in the water because she's clumsy and sees a mouse. I love this mouse. I'm going to start quoting this mouse from now on. Cats. Like, I love this mouse. This mouse is awesome. The mouse explains that I hate cats, and she's like, "Well, you'll like my cat," and he's like, "I hate you, you bitch," and like swims away, and then the mouse walks up on the hill and goes, "Cats," and then disappears. Now you're gonna notice when this movie goes on, there is kind of a story, but it's more so different segments of meeting each character, and then the movie ends. That's how I perceived it.
Yep.
Is that how you perceived it, Greg? There was no real story. There was just shit happening.
To me, watching that movie felt like it was like a Broadway musical.
Yeah, and I actually heard another reviewer state that it's very similar to how you would read the book. Like there's just shit happening.
Yeah.
Now Alice at this time ends up running into a dodo bird. Alice is all wet, and this is when another very nonsensical thing happens. Alice is like, I'm really wet from the water. I can't really dry off. And the dodo bird's like, "There's nothing more dry than history." Now, what is fun to note is the dodo bird exclaims the history portion. Yeah. Then the dodo bird says something about Shakespeare, when he was born and when he died. Now, I forget what years the dodo bird said, but the date of death was correct, but the birth was not. The dodo bird had, I think, Shakespeare dying in like his 20s or 30s. He actually died in his 50s.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. She gets dry because history's dry as shit. And the dodo bird's like, "You might want to leave because I'm going to start getting into dates and you're going to fall asleep." So Alice then fucks off and starts walking again. And at this point, she stumbles upon our old familiar friend, the caterpillar. The caterpillar's smoking from a hookah. He's an asshole, like he is in every version of this fucking movie. It's just how it is. And he's all being dickish. She's like, I'm 3 inches tall and I'm fine. And she's like, well, I want to grow bigger and smaller or whatever. And he's like, well, you eat from the magic mushrooms. You know, some of you guys know you eat from the magic mushrooms and you grow. So she takes a piece of one side of the mushroom and a side of the other. And she eats one and grows like Mario. she grows and she's like, I'm too tall. And that should be her stage name if she's a rapper, Too Tall. She then asks where the caterpillar's at, and he's like, fuck off, and he like goes away. She sees this little house, which shit just pops out of nowhere in this movie, like shit that wasn't there before, and we'll talk about that here soon. She then eats the other half and gets small again. She then sees these 2 toads. The more I'm talking, the more I realize that this movie makes no goddamn sense. Okay, there's these 2 toads who are, one is like, I am inviting the Duchess to play croquet with the Queen. And we're all wondering who the hell is the Queen. Because later on in the movie, we meet the White Queen, we meet the Red Queen, the Queen of Hearts, but who's the Queen? So the 2 bow, they hit heads, the other one rips the other one's wig off and ends up going away. And then the other toad just sitting there like, I'm bald now, and just all sad. Is that what happened to you, Gorak? Somebody came and took your wig?
Yep. I was all sad and shit.
Is there anything you want to add up to this point?
Nah, keep going, dude. Keep fucking going.
Now, the toad is all fucking sad, okay, and depressed. And Alice is like, so how do I get in to meet the Duchess? Because she was knocking on the door, and the toad's like, you can't go in there, whatever. The toad's like, well, I'll just wait till tomorrow or wait for a week, whatever. We'll just sit here. And Alice just walks in. And I don't know what in Satan's nightmare asshole shit is going on in this room, but she enters this room and there's what appears to be a ball sack sitting in the chair. Okay.
Yes.
And there is a deformed Muppet throwing dishes around the room. I am not exaggerating. It's a ball sack and a Muppet are in a fucking room just fighting it out. And the ball sack is throwing a baby around. Like he's just like, fuck this baby. And he's just throwing this baby. And I'm not joking. The Duchess says, babies just cry to be assholes, pretty much is what the Duchess says. Babies cry just to get attention and they deserve to be beaten. Like, this is fucked up. This is really fucked up. But then the Duchess is like, fuck this baby, and throws it at Alice and says, I gotta go meet the Queen, and disappears. Am I wrong on any of this shit?
No, but like the baby scene part when it just kept on crying, man, which is crazy.
That is a really messed up scene because the Duchess is like, babies deserve to be beaten because they cry.
Yeah.
And then throws the baby at Alice and leaves.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, Noami. This looks like a ball sack and a Muppet just fighting. It is crazy.
A ball sack and a Muppet.
And then the Duchess, the ball sack with legs, just throws the baby at Alice, says, fuck this baby. I got to go meet the Queen, and leaves. But Alice is like, I'm not going to sit here with this Muppet. I got things to do. So she has this baby, and she leaves the house. And she's like, oh, this freaking baby, for some reason, is turning into a pig. I don't know.
Was it, I'm trying to remember. Was it this part?
Hold on, let me remove us.
Wait, sorry. I did a mistake. Oops.
Oh, you did a mistake. Just do it for the overlay, not the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, the baby like is turning into a pig. Like, why not? We already met a ball sack and a Muppet. We might as well turn the baby into a pig. Yeah, that. Look at that. It's a fucking ball sack with a hat and a body with a baby.
Saggy ball sack with a hat.
Look, like are we gonna get demonetized for this? It's just fucking throwing the baby around, whatever. She ends up leaving the house, and the baby, why not, turns into a pig. And then the baby just leaves. We never see the baby again.
This is way before child abduction was a thing.
I guess, because whatever.
Yeah.
Now, after meeting Duchess, the ball sack, Alice ends up running into the Cheshire cat. Now, I mispronounce the name all the time. Make fun of me if I did. Now, the cat just happens to know everything. The cat's like, you're going to go play croquet with the queen? And Alice's like, yeah, whatever. No questions asked. I just know that you know that I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, it's just what people just already know. He just knows. But then he's like, whatever happened to that baby? And Alice, just like it's a normal fucking Tuesday, turned into a pig and ran away. And the cat was like, oh, I figured it'd do that, and then disappeared. And then he pops back up further away and is like, a pig. Did you say a pig or a fig? Like you knew
Pig.
What the baby would. No, the Cheshire cat asked, did you say pig or fig? And then Alice was like, pig. And he's like, oh, okay. After he just said, I knew that would happen. He didn't even know what the hell she said.
Yeah.
This is when things might get a little weird.
It's already gone weird since the beginning.
This is when the cat then disappears again. Showing just the face, the classic scene. And Alice is like, I've always heard of a cat without a smile, but not a smile without a cat. And then the cat disappears. The entire scene changes, and the Mad Hatter's house just shows up out of thin air. Fucking voila, magic. Now goes in there. The Mad Hatter's going crazy like the Mad Hatter does. His little rabbit friend's going crazy. Got the little, I think, rat on the chair in between the two. And the Mad Hatter starts singing a tune. Well, after he tells her there's no room, she's like, there is room. He's like, oh, touche, there is. And then lets her sit down. He doesn't argue. He's like, oh, yeah, I lied. Then he was like, what was that fucking nursery rhyme he was telling? Like, it was all screwed up. It wasn't even the real nursery rhyme. But he was singing something that wasn't even the right song. But he started singing that. It's not really that important to the story. Alice is like, why does your watch tell the date but not the time? And the Mad Hatter's like, time? Do you know time? Of course, time's a person. Whose time, though? Is time the fucking clock at the beginning of the movie? Who knows? They never explain it. The Mad Hatter explains that now it is always 6 o'clock. It is tea time all the time. It's Britain. It is fucking Britain in Wonderland. It's tea time all the time and not enough time to clean dishes. Like that's how it is. That's how
and throw a baby.
And you throw babies, I guess. I don't know. But the Mad Hatter offers Alice wine. And Alice is like, you don't have wine. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. We don't have wine. Why do you offer wine when you don't have wine? Whatever. But Alice is only 12. So good thing they didn't have wine. Perhaps in the 1800s when this was written, maybe that was okay. I don't know. But everything's tea related in Wonderland because it's always tea time. Alice says, screw this Mad Hatter. She leaves. She ends up running into, after leaving there, a bunch of cards. Did you want to add anything about the Mad Hatter?
No.
Am I missing anything?
No. Keep going, dude.
Yet I'm missing a lot. Because there's there's a lot that is said by each character, but it doesn't add to the story.
It's all good. Keep going.
And every character does have life lessons, by the way. If you rewatch the movie, there are life lessons in this movie. I'm just trying to understand this. Okay. They go into and they see she sees them cards and they're painting the roses red because they fucked up, bought white roses instead of red. The queen will tear their heads off. Then the queen shows up, which is the Queen of Hearts, not the Queen of Wonderland, but the Queen of Hearts. They all fucking freak out. The queen's like, go off with their heads and blah, 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 and off with her heads. And then we find out that the executioner is on vacation and he's going to be executed when he comes back for taking vacation. So he's going to have to execute himself. I don't know how that's going to happen, but the executioner has to execute himself. But anyway, she's like, let's play a croquet and then I'll kill you guys later in the week. I guess I'll just make it up to you. I guess. They were playing the game and the mallets were flamingos and the balls were hamsters. That's how the old story goes. I didn't write it. Then we meet our old familiar friend, the ball sack, sitting in a chair. And just pretty much all the ball sack says to her is, we should just be yourself. If you're a ball sack in life, just be a ball sack in life. And then,
like, seriously, like,
yeah. And
like,
then, yeah, look at that.
True. You can be like this guy.
Yeah, dreams do come true. If you want to be a ball sack with eyes and feet, you can be whatever you want. This is when Alice then ends up leaving the Duchess behind. Duchess Balsackius. That sounds like a weird Harry Potter fucking magic. But anyway, this is when Alice meets the Griffin. And the Griffin introduces her to the singing turtle. I think it's called a mock turtle. He's singing about mock turtle soup. Now, for those that are not familiar, if you watch this movie, though, I'm going to give a little bit of a fun little side note. The mock turtle is actually a cow with a turtle shell. There's a reason for that. Mock turtle soup is made of veal, not turtle. So it's made from beef, not turtle. So they had it be a cow and a turtle shell. But the turtle starts singing songs about turtle soup. This is another kind of side quest in the game, I guess, of trying to find the queen that doesn't make sense. Then the Griffin's like, let's leave while he's crying. So the Griffin and Alice start running, and then the Griffin turns into the Red Queen.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. This is when things get a little weird. After meeting a ball sack and a Muppet, this is when things start getting odd. The Red Queen the Griffin turns into the Red Queen. She's like, when are we going to arrive where we're going? She's like, well, 10 minutes ago. Okay, whatever. Then they end up at a chessboard, and the Queen's like, you want to go 4 steps over here. You telling her directions, how to dress, all that shit, which doesn't make sense in a world full of fantasy. But she tells her where to go and how to behave around the Queen of Wonderland, pretty much. So Alice says okay, and then follows her orders, and then she runs into Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who look like 2 raisins. They look like they look like, you know, that old raisin mascot.
Yeah,
you may have had it in Australia, may not have, but they look like fucking raisins. They also look like little ball sacks too. Like, I don't know, but they're the people in the background with Alice. Tweedledee and Tweedledum break out in a song and dance because why not? They start dancing with Alice.
you're talking about these guys?
Yeah.
Fuck,
they look a little less sacky than the other one. They look
sacky.
Yeah, they look more like, I mean, they look more human-esque than the ball sack with a face.
If I had a kid and threw like a kid, like his very first, like his birthday party for turning 1, I'll hire these guys.
Have those be at the party as the clown.
Yeah, but in clown makeup.
Dude, we need to do an Alice in Wonderland themed party. I'll be the ball sack with eyes.
I'd be Tweedledee.
But Tweedledee and Tweedledum start dancing, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna tell you a little story, because why not?" And this is when Disney should have done the movie, because it's very similar to Disney. They open up this little window from nowhere, and this little dancing, singing cartoon segment comes out of nowhere and starts singing about this walrus and a carpenter eating baby oysters. I don't know. The oysters are alive, and then he murders them brutally and eats them, but he's crying because he didn't want to. And him and the carpenter at the end are eating the oysters. I thought it was fucked up, this little cartoon story, I thought. But Tweedledee and Tweedledum's like, hi, it's so family. And then Tweedledee or Tweedledum, I forget which one, but they're like, oh, my rattler's broken and it was his fault. And they start fighting. And Tweedledee and Tweedledum get into like a sword fight or whatever. This part is the part that didn't make sense. I don't know. After everything I just described, this is the part that didn't make sense to me. Are you ready for this, Greg?
Go for it.
Tweedledum said, we will fight until 6 before it gets too dark out, when we were informed by the Mad Hatter that it's always 6 o'clock. That didn't make sense to me. But anyway, they're fighting, and then it gets real dark, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum's like, oh my God, it's past my bedtime or whatever. And then the Raisinets ran away. That's what I'm going to call Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the Raisinets. That's their stage name. They went away. Alice is like, it's getting dark, and she looks up, and they all realize it's a crow. Must be hungry for raisins. I don't know. And then the crow just disappears, I guess, turned into the White Queen. I don't know, because the White Queen popped out of nowhere. Nothing's really explained. It just happens. The White Queen starts talking to Alice. And Alice, I guess, still high on shrooms. The White Queen turns into a sheep. And they're in a shop now. I don't know why. But they're in a shop. And what used to be the White Queen, that's now a sheep, is trying to sell eggs to Alice. And Alice is like, this one's the biggest egg. I want it. And she's like, okay, you can have it. And then the egg then turns into Humpty Dumpty. And this is when her shrooms really kick in. And she ends up in front of Humpty Dumpty. And
yeah.
Anything you want to add?
I actually want to know how much do they make out of this movie?
We can get into that once I go through the movie. We can go through facts and all that fun shit if you want to look
I've been trying to look for it this whole time, but I couldn't find it.
I don't think it really was in theaters very long. I think it was mostly on TV. I could be mistaken. Okay. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. Humpty Dumpty. He was on the wall. He was telling his story, whatever. You guys can go watch the movie if you want to hear what all these characters are saying, but it's mostly song, dance, rhyme, nonsensical stuff. Humpty Dumpty basically says that if I go too crazy, I'll have a fall, and all the king's horses, all the king's men will come to help me. Well, Humpty Dumpty gets all excited, falls off the wall. Alice freaks out, ends up running into a king. And the king's like, my horses and men are coming, but I don't have enough horses for the men. And he's like, do you see that over there? And she's like, you're hallucinating. There ain't shit over there. And he's like, oh, I wish my eyesight was that normal, that I couldn't see nothing. And then appears the White Knight. I love this guy. This guy's clumsy. He falls off his horse all the time. He has a little sack of food that's upside down, and all his food fell out. So he hung it up for bees to get into it, because he has a comb on his back of his horse with a mouse trap, even though why would mice be on his horse?
Yeah.
I like this guy because no matter what life throws at him, he always falls off his horse, but while he's down, he always invents something or comes up with something positive.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much all we really find out about him, because she ends up falling down a hill. She falls down this hill. She's greeted by a crown that says Queen Alice. This is when we have a moment of realization that Alice is a queen, but what kind of queen is she? because we have like the Queen of Hearts, we have the White Queen and the White Queen and Red Queen, which actually greet Alice after she says I'm a queen, and they try pretty much quizzing her on being a queen. They're like, "What's 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 1 plus?" She's like, "I lost track," and they're like, "Oh, you're fucking stupid!" Like they're really quizzing her. They're being assholes to her. Well, Alice like, "Fuck all this shit," and she walked up to this door. Naomi's in the back, all confused. I was too. Walked up to the door and she knocked on it, and this guy opened up the door, said, "Fuck off," pretty much, and then shut the door. Reminiscent of like Wizard of Oz. When she met the wizard, the guy at the door was like, "Go away." Well, she walks up to the door and is like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Go away." And she's like, "I'm the queen. I do what I want." And she knocks on the door, and the door disappears. And in that room is everyone we saw previously, partying. Now we realize that Alice is the Queen of Wonderland this whole time. Everyone already knew the Queen of Wonderland. And they're all chanting, "All hail the Queen Alice," and they're singing and shit. And then they all go crazy. Ooh, this movie going crazy. It's already happened. They all go fucking ape shit crazy. The White Queen and Red Queen somehow are in this room. Even though they're outside asleep, they end up in the room asleep. But we find out why none of this makes sense, because when everybody's fighting, the Red Queen wakes up and starts choking Alice, and then Alice wakes up, and it was all but a dream. Whew, that was a lot to take in 36 minutes.
Yeah, but like Humpty Dumpty in this, right?
Yeah, that is Humpty Dumpty.
Boom. What does he look like to you?
He looks more like a ball sack than the Duchess.
I was gonna say, kind of looks like Godzilla's turd.
He looks like a Godzilla turd. This is the closest to what the character's supposed to be. It looks like an egg.
Maybe a tip of a penis. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they asked him what that is around his neck. Is it a belt or a collar or whatever? And he's like, "It's a collar."
It looks like, yeah, it looks like he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, it's like a net. It's like a collar. It's not a belt. But she asked that because all he is legs and arms.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy looking. But even the rabbit.
Yeah, that's the White Rabbit.
That's creepy.
And that's the Queen and the King on the far right. Well, it's our right, their left. And all the cards. Is there any other pictures you had, bud?
No, just those. But the child abuse.
Child abuse scene
with the ball sack.
With the ball sack. No. I'm gonna get into some factoids about this movie.
Yeah.
Let's do some facts and then some goofs, and then we can get into like our favorite scenes and all that.
And we can announce the next movie. I just came up with one.
Okay. We can do the next movie too. I would also like to announce before we do this that we are going to be premiering Monday. Glazier Girl was on the show. She's going to be there Monday. And I'm also going to be on Dabs with Dads next Monday. I don't have a promo photo for that, but I'm going to be on Dabs with Dads. We've got a lot of shit coming up. We have guests coming up. We have a lot of things coming up.
Yeah, busy like couple of weeks.
For those of you that want to claim that podcasting is easy, we have 3 guests in 1 week, and we're premiering those episodes over the course of 2 weeks. So, because we have a pre-recorded, 2 days later we have the live, and then 2 days later I think we have a pre-recorded, and then we'll have 2 weeks of pre-recorded episodes. But all right, let's get into some of the trivia. Is there anything you want to promote or anything?
No.
Okay. Now, this is all from IMDb trivia section. I'm going to give them full-blown credit. Mary Pickford and Walt Disney planned to make this live action and also an animated feature, but Paramount ended up getting the rights before them. We did mention that a little earlier. Now, here's a fun little side note. Sterling Holloway, who played the frog, he actually voiced the Cheshire Cat in the Disney version in 1951.
Oh, wow.
So he was
That's the colored version, I believe.
Yeah, that's the colored version. I think that might be actually the animated version.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the animated version. The running time is 76 minutes. That is the entire length of time that Alice is in the Looking Glass.
Which is a decent running time for a movie, I think.
Yes. The clock on the mantelpiece starts at 3:40, and when she returns, it's 5. So literally, the time between when she leaves through the Looking Glass and comes back is actually the same amount of time the movie is.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Like I said earlier, this movie was put together because Paramount was going bankrupt and they wanted to save their company. Now, this wasn't the movie that saved their company. Also, Mae West was originally cast to play Alice, but couldn't do it.
Okay.
Mae West
did a really good job with this one.
Yeah. Well, Mae West ended up doing She Done Him Wrong and I'm No Angel, which those were the two that saved the studio anyway.
Okay.
I think this was a great movie. This movie legally couldn't be released in DVD or any home format for that matter until 2010.
Due to the throwing of the baby?
No, due to copyright issues. Who owned the copyright then? Paramount used to own the copyright, but Disney owns it now.
Yeah.
So I think Disney finally bought the copyright from Paramount to release it for an anniversary.
Do you reckon they'll ever release this on Disney Plus?
No. Well, maybe. I mean, you've got all kinds of crazy shit on Disney Plus.
Mm.
The movie was a failure at the box office because the cast was mostly unrecognizable.
I thought they were good.
You want to hear something funny, a fun little side note. There's a scene in the movie where the Humpty Dumpty is explaining to Alice what an unbirthday is.
Unbirthday?
An unbirthday.
Okay.
It's an unbirthday present. It's a present you receive on not your birthday.
I'm going to start saying that now.
It's an unbirthday present. Fun note, when Alice in Wonderland 1933 was finally released on DVD, they called it the unanniversary package.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah, the unbirthday is a funny thing. I'm going to use lines of this movie from now on. An unbirthday, an unanniversary.
Happy unanniversary.
Yeah, happy unanniversary. Tell your girlfriend or whatever that every day in case you forgot.
Yeah.
This is one of the few movies where the technical crew is completely left out of the credits.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because they didn't have enough money for the full run time. I don't know, Jackie. Jackie in the comments is asking why a ball sack had the baby. I don't understand. I don't know what the Duchess is supposed. Well, every character in this movie is like an animal that she would see in real life and stuff. I don't want to know what the Duchess is or Tweedledee and Tweedledum is. I don't want to know. I don't care to know.
I'm still trying to figure out why does the ball sack have the baby.
Here's another weird fact, bro. Okay. Now, before I get into the fact, here's a little cool thing. There was 5 actresses that were among tested for the role of Alice. Ida Lupino, Betty Grable, Anne Shirley, Marge Champion, and Paulette Goddard, but none of them got the role. This movie was one of the few theatrical released films that was put in literary class, that was based on literary classics, that was allowed in U.S. schools in the 1950s and 60s. So it's one of the few classics that was based on books that was allowed in schools. Would you allow this in school? Thank you, guys. Yeah. Teach kids if they don't behave, they'll get beaten up. My God. This is a crazy movie. When the Mad Hatter is throwing the Mad Tea Party, the Hatter asks Alice what day of the month it is, and Alice answers that it's the 4th. The Hatter checks his watch and then yells that she's 2 days off. When Alice exclaims that the watch, when she examines the watch, the hands on the dial indicate that the date is being a Tuesday in June. In 1933, when the film was made, June 4th fell on a Sunday, 2 days from what the Hatter's watch indicates. So, like, this movie's kind of correct. But there's a lot of other facts you can look up. Bing Crosby was actually originally sought to play the role of the Mock Turtle, but he refused because the role was demeaning to his character. It was demeaning to his career. So Bing Crosby didn't play it.
The turtle and the cat, man, and the rabbit was just really really creepy looking.
Wow, like I agree. The cat, the turtle, everything's creepy.
Yeah, but it made the whole movie work so well.
Yeah, like who's the creepiest character? Would you say
Humpty D
Humpty D
and Humpty Dum? Did I say it right? Or
Tweedledee
Tweedledee?
and
Sorry. Yeah.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum are the creepiest.
Yeah.
I think the Duchess was the creepiest.
Because, like, could you imagine, like, wake it up, open up your blinds, and they're just sitting there?
True, but I think the Duchess is creepier though.
I was gonna say the ball sack.
That's who that is. That's the Duchess. It's the ball sack.
Could we just say ball sack?
Ball sack. That's the Duchess. I just call her ball sack. Ball sack.
Okay,
ball
yeah.
sack.
With the baby, that was just disturbing.
This movie was. Hold on. Okay. Here's some goofs, some fuck ups in the movie. After the White Knight falls into the ditch, Alice helps him out. He continues telling a story about how he invents things. Yet initially, neither his lips nor Alice's are moving during this scene.
Really?
And when they are moving, it's not matching what is being said.
Oh, that's funny.
When William Shakespeare's birth and dates are given by the dodo bird, it is given as 1585 and 1616, when in reality, he was actually born in 1564 and died in 1660. Alice is an English girl, but she speaks with an American accent.
She done well.
When Alice holds the encyclopedia to her mirror, the insert slot shows it as being volume VII. But when the scene cuts to the two shots of Alice holding the book up and smiling, it's giving a completely different volume altogether. Now, when the White King falls in the ditch, this is another fuck up. When he falls into the ditch, he falls face down, where his feet can be seen pointing downward, but when Alice approaches him, he's face up.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
During Baby Leroy's brief appearance, he is initially seen walking. He's the little bishop baby at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
He has two different expressions on his face during that scene.
Okay.
Because it was shot 2 different times, so he has 2 different expressions.
That's cool.
Whenever the White Queen flies away after seeing the fight between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, you can clearly see the strings attached to her. Did you notice the weird scene cuts, by the way? Like, you can tell where the scenes, like, was cut. Like, the scene where she was going into the hole that was too small and her head got stuck, you could see it, like, the scene cut and she moved real quick.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the little scene cuts in this movie. Now is almost the moment of truth. We are going to get into what we rate this movie personally. Keep in mind this movie was released in 1933. For the technology that they had, I think they did a good job.
For IMDb, is that what they called?
IMDb, Internet Movie Database.
Yeah, I got like 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, But
Rotten Tomatoes at 69%.
I thought it was great for the technology they had, especially the growing scene, like getting taller and smaller. The way they did that was blurred her to make it look like she's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Now, what would you rate this movie on a personal level?
Well, with creepy characters and the ball sack, I give it 7.5 out of 10.
Wow. If there wasn't a ball sack, you wouldn't.
I'd give it a fucking 3.
So a 7.5 out of 10. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I could have gave it more higher, but like if it was in color, I probably would have gave it a 9. But
oh, you can't do black and white?
I've seen lots of black and white like shows, like the Addams Family and the Monsters and stuff like that. But I would like to see what this was like in color, though.
I wonder if they ever released it in color.
Oh, there are pictures.
Maybe the re-release was in color. I watched the black and white one.
Yeah, I watched the black and white one too in HD. I'll see if I can find some pictures of it.
So the cool note about this movie, at least according to Wikipedia, don't come after me. This is the only major live-action Hollywood theatrical production to adapt the original Alice stories. Like it keeps true to the book.
That's cool.
But yeah, I want to know how this did in theaters, though.
Yeah, I've been trying to look for how much they made, but I couldn't seem to find it.
Like I looked all week and I couldn't find it, but it says right here that it was a box office bomb. So maybe
it would have been. When it wasn't that good then.
No, because it says right here its status as a box office bomb cast doubt on whether a live-action fantasy with strange-looking characters could be successfully presented on a screen until The Wizard of Oz was released 5 years later. This movie was banned in China.
Whoa, really?
Because it is a superstitious film and it is too strange and it features unscientific elements.
That actually makes sense.
That is awesome. But yeah, we will say what you said 7.5, I said 8. Let's just say 7.5.
Well, here are some pictures that I found in color.
I don't know if I think it's more horrifying in color, bro.
Yeah. Like this was more horrifying.
Oh my god!
Like the baby looks so fake in there. Look at that.
It looks more realistic in black and white, dude. And the Duchess, that ball sack needs some sunlight, bro. It's so pale.
Yeah, the baby is. Oh god, dude, it's terrifying.
Oh god, but anyway, that was Alice in Wonderland. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go.
Go ahead, bro. I was just gonna wrap things up.
So, do you wanna announce the movie? I came up with it. So.
Yeah, you got a picture to pop up?
Yeah, you ready?
Yep, let's do this.
Hang on. Do we have the breaking news banner up here?
Right here.
Okay, you ready? Pink Sock exclusive. For next week's episode, this is one of my favorite B-graded horror movies.
Here we go.
And I get a lot of shit for this, but I think it's fantastic. You ready?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Boom. And they announced they're going to be doing a sequel to this too.
Where can I find Velocipaster?
You could probably rent it in your country because it's heaps hard in here. But I did find it streaming on YouTube.
Bro, like I don't think I want to pay for that. The Velocipaster.
That'll pray.
It's available on Tubi TV. It's free.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'll watch it there.
Oh, mad.
Bro, I get a lot of...
Movies are just getting worse and worse for us to watch.
Well, we watched Evil Bong. I forced you to watch that, so I guess I
Yeah.
can watch Velocipaster.
Yeah. At
so
least the
I will-
effects are real in that thing too.
They are.
They are. There's no CGI, dude.
How did it do in theaters?
I don't know. I think it was like direct on streaming.
I said that as a joke.
No, but like I'm pretty sure it just went on DVD and stuff like that. But like you actually see a person dressing up as a fucking dinosaur in this. It's hilarious.
So it's not a serious film, though.
No, it's a comedy horror.
Oh fuck, dude! This movie is about a pastor that turns into a velociraptor when he's angry.
Yeah, yeah, and he hooks up with a prostitute that teams up. Like she teams up with him, and then he goes after these guys that like killed his parents. So he goes after the murderers and like rapists and stuff and ninjas.
So he's Christ-like.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny. A priest hooking up with a hooker. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. I would like to apologize to anybody, by the way, that is on Facebook right now. We are having difficulties getting your comments again. I think it is because Facebook keeps sending me to private. I don't know. So if you want to be heard, please go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and watch us there. We are working on getting the Facebook shit going properly, but Mark Zuckerberg is a douche nugget, I guess.
We've got to get him on.
We got to get him on so we can ask him why he's such a douche turtle.
Stop being so creepy.
But yeah, I've had people tell me, they're like, you're ignoring my comments on Facebook. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just...
Didn't that pop up last time we were doing this?
It did, but it pops up as user unavailable or whatever. Like, it doesn't tell me who it is.
That's weird. I don't know.
Like this.
Facebook, get your shit together.
It says Facebook user. The comments are popping up, but it's saying Facebook user. And I had a friend recently. Now, that's from my official, I think, YouTube Facebook page. My actual Facebook profile isn't popping up comments, I don't think.
Okay.
I could be mistaken. But like people's comments are coming through, but it's Tim. Thank you, Tim. But it says Facebook user, and then it won't tell me like who likes the page, and it also isn't telling me who's viewing. So I don't know what Facebook is doing. So if you want to like get in on the conversation, please go over to YouTube. I also am working on, probably in the next few months or less time than that, if I feel sporadic about it, getting our merch shop going.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
So people can sport pink sock shirts. And if you guys see me in person, I'll gladly sign them.
And if you see me in person in the internet world, I will digital sign them.
And honestly, if you want us to sign the shirts, if you want us to sign the merch shirts, we can. Gorak is in Australia. I'm in America.
He can forge my signature.
But we can try to make it happen. It'll cost some money, though, because you might have to have it shipped to me, sign, and then I'll ship it to Gorak, him sign, and then him ship it. And we'll just charge you like extra whatever shipping for the shirt.
Unless if I just send you a picture of my autograph.
And then patch it on there.
And just get it printed on.
But yeah, we have merch coming up, and I do appreciate everyone for listening, for tuning in. Go check out Alice in Wonderland. Check out Monday. We have Glazer Girl. It is pre-recorded. We already had that conversation. We discussed music. We discussed her latest album. We discussed her latest 2 singles, mental health.
A solo artist?
She is a solo artist.
Oh, nice.
And she is incredible. She was fun to talk to, and she took the fact of what a pink sock was pretty well. But yeah, guys, Thank you all for tuning in. That was an 8 out of 10 movie. Pure perfection. God, I can't wait until Wednesday. I can't wait. I cannot wait until next Wednesday because Velocipaster.
Yeah.
But guys, that was another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. I love you all, and as always, live long, rock hard.
And don't forget to subscribe, or this might happen to you.
Yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that share button. We want everyone to hear about Pink Sock Podcast, and we want this channel to grow. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. We are not even at the 100 mark, so we have a ways to go. But
we will get this guy onto you.
Our first goal for me is 500. So let's push, share, share, share. We cannot do this without you. So please share the hell out of this. We will gladly support whatever you are doing too. We might not do it every episode because we might have a flood of people that want support, but we will give you a shout out. Please, please, please. Thank you all. Live long, rock hard, and subscribe.